And
Maya
we
saying?
are live. Hi, everyone. I have with me someone who I've been following for a while, maybe, I don't know, for 2 years. I'm so happy to have the amazing, prolific writer, Maya Say, who joined us today from Bulgaria. And for those who don't know Maya, and I'm sure everyone knows Maya actually, who's on Substack, I was doing a live Substack last week, and the creator that I was talking to, he said that he became a solopreneur after reading Maya's essay. So that was
Wow.
yeah, that was fascinating.
Really? You're talking about Anfer? How do you say
Answer,
that?
yeah,
Wow, that is
yeah.
insane. I love his work. I love what he does. So that's
Yeah,
awesome.
I'll send you the live with Anver. But that was
Awesome.
I thought like the universe is telling me something. I have to talk to Maya.
That's amazing.
So for those who don't know Maya, she's a monetization strategist who worked with 2,000 solopreneurs one-on-one. She's featured in Business Insider, Metro UK, and others. She helps writers and solopreneurs monetize their skills. All right, Maya. So let's start with, how do you define a solopreneur? It's like a fancy word people throw here and there. What is a solopreneur?
Wow, I love this question. I think definitions are so important about how we approach things. And the funny thing is that a solopreneur, if you Google it, has a lousy definition. It's
Okay.
literally, it says that a solopreneur is an entrepreneur who works alone.
Okay.
Right? Who doesn't have employees, who doesn't have, usually doesn't have an office or something like that. It had to do with not having employees. And I thought this was so funny. Like, you don't define a singer by saying they're the person in the band that don't play an instrument. Like,
That's true.
it's an insane definition, right?
Yeah.
So a solopreneur, really, it's such a new concept, and it's been made popular with technology. It really is someone who delivers the core value of their business alone. So if you're a writer, it means that you are the one who does the writing. If you hire a virtual assistant or even someone, like to do bookkeeping, to answer your emails or do scheduling or whatever, even like a PR, you're still a solopreneur, right? You're just outsourcing some of the tasks if you do the writing. But if I'm like a copywriter, for example, and I have so many clients that now I hire other copywriters to do writing, then I run an agency because I've outsourced the core function of my business, which is writing. So this means that now I probably have to spend more time managing the other copywriters, managing my clients' expectations, selling, etc. So this is an agency, even if the writers are also freelancers. So there are plenty of agencies these days who work not with full-time employees, but with other solopreneurs. So it's a very tricky definition. But to me, I feel like the best definition is someone who delivers the core value of the business on their own. Now, what's the core value of the business? That's another story, but I'll let you do the questions. So.
Yeah. So let's say I hire someone to help me with like social media, whatever. Does this still make me a solopreneur? I mean, I'm hiring freelancers. Where do you draw the line? And my business is also registered as an LLC. So does that also make me a solopreneur?
It doesn't really matter in terms of registration. I think I also have a company. I feel like it's the smarter decision after you grow past a certain point, just because, and obviously this differs from country to country. But in Bulgaria, for example, if you are self-employed, you have 10% expenses that the government sort of accepts that you make 10% expenses, and everything else you pay tax on. But when you have a company, you can have invoices and expenses and pay less tax, etc. So it makes more sense when you grow after a certain point and you actually do have expenses. For example, I pay for software. Sometimes I also pay for freelancers. So it just makes sense for me. I don't think this changes a lot. I think, and in terms of hiring people for social media, it really depends what's your business. So if your business is, for example, content creation, and you create the content, but then you hire someone to take the content you've created and break it down and then publish it consistently on social media or edit your videos or turn your posts into videos or whatever, you are still delivering the core value yourself. It's still your ideas. It's still your content. It's still you out there with your face, right? All that you're hiring out is just getting a virtual assistant or a freelancer or whatever to do the actual busy work. So that's
Okay.
still a solo.
Okay. Got it. So you've been a solopreneur for I think 10 years or so.
11 now. Yeah,
11
years going fast.
Okay. So how like that's pretty like if I think of it, you're like a trendsetter because we started hearing about solopreneurs maybe in the past 5 years, and slowly people are getting into it and embracing it. Like if I'm here in the suburbs with the suburban mom having a drinks and I'm saying I'm a solopreneur, I think the majority would know what that is, but that was not the case, let's say 5 years ago. So how did you get into that? What made the mind shift? And how did you embrace it so early? What made you such a trendsetter?
The mind shift, thank you for that. That's quite the compliment. The mind shift was the most difficult thing to do. And it actually
Okay.
came years after I started. So in the beginning, I wanted to be a life coach slash business coach. I was very, very confused. I was like 26-year-old life coach. So as you can imagine, I had tons of clients. No,
Okay.
I really struggled. Like the first year was really difficult. And then as I was trying to figure out coaching and having a business of my own, I stumbled on upon copywriting. I got like a marketing slash copywriting course, which was supposed to help me sell coaching. And it did. But what it also did was I got really excited about writing. I just loved what they were teaching me, and I wanted to do that. And I started offering this as a service with the idea of like getting people to become copywriting clients and then offering them business coaching. But then the copywriting side of things exploded so much that I actually stopped coaching and I became a copywriter. I didn't call myself a solopreneur back then. I had no idea what I wanted to do. It was so strange. I mean, I think it's a great question because it's such a new thing.
Yeah.
And I knew that I didn't want to have an agency or a business, but there was a brief moment. And I'll tell you what, it was when I had my first 5-figure client, when I said to myself, oh, I can't possibly be good enough to do this myself. Like, I need to hire a team, get an office. If I'm going to get clients like this, like, I need to be an agency, right? I just didn't believe be a solopreneur and do this. I got like a $12,000 client and I was like, whoa, I can't do this. And I had the agency for like 6 months. I hired an office downtown. I hired a couple of girls. It was like all very trendy. And it was so not my thing, Natasha. Oh my God. I can't even tell you. Like I was always in meetings. I didn't even write anymore. I was always in meetings, always talking to people, explaining to people what was needed. I was in a lot of I did a lot of research and a lot of user testing, which is involved in offering this high level copywriting service. And I said to myself, you know what? First of all, I want to do a lot less meetings. I want to do a lot more writing. And I don't really feel like I actually need those people to help me with clients like this. I just need to pace myself because what happened is, oh, now I have a team. So now I need to get more clients like this. And then I went out and got a couple more clients like this. And it was a whole long sales process, etc. And I was just so busy with other things. And I was like, actually, if I just work with 1 or 2 clients at a time of this caliber, right? I'm doing okay. And if I don't pay salaries and then rent for an office, et cetera, et cetera. And then it was about like, I actually, I had to let the girls go. I had to let the office go. And I felt really bad because it was like going back and forth and back and forth. But no one back then, as you said, no one told me, oh, you know what? There's this thing called solopreneurship, and you don't actually have to go run an agency. You can do whatever you want to do. And that's what I'm trying to do now. I'm trying to show to more people that it's okay. Like, this is a new thing. And it's sort of neither a job nor a real business. People are still like, you're doing what? Like, get a real job. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
But it's real and it's pretty cool.
Okay. So you yourself, how do you monetize? Because you teach people how to monetize, but where is your income stream coming from?
Okay, so I have multiple income streams and I'm actually in a transition period. So I am, what is fair to say, I'm a multi-passionate entrepreneur. So what this
Okay.
means that I like to try different things. And for a long time, I was blaming myself for it because I do think that you should be focused and devoted, and intentional about your business and not just opportunistic and sort of jumping from one thing to another. That is not what I mean when I say multi-passionate. But when I'm really interested in something, I want to try it out. Like it's not leaving me alone. So I still have a lot of clients because when I first started out as a copywriter, and I still work with a lot of clients, and most of my, okay, probably not most now, but let's say half of my income is still coming from clients. And I'm at this stage, I'm lucky enough to be at the stage where I actually have a list of regular clients, and they also recommending me to other people. So I don't need to actively go out and look for clients. So that's pretty cool. And again, when you're a solopreneur, it works out this way because you can't really serve 100 people at a
Yeah.
time. But it's
Yeah.
okay to have clients at a time if you charge them well and if you know your processes. So that's another thing we
Yeah.
can discuss. And then um, actually, sort of, so the newsletter and my products that I first tried digital products on Gumroad last year, and they worked really well, but I'm actually upgrading them now a little bit because I just tried a few small products.
Okay.
But the products and the Substack and the Medium, because I also used to make some money on Medium, not so much anymore, are like maybe 10% of my income,
Okay.
10 to 15%. And I recently started a real estate flipping business, which is
Yeah,
again a
I saw this.
entrepreneurship thing. I still call it a solopreneurship thing because I'm not the one doing the renovation, right? I have a contractor, I'm real estate broker to sell the property. It's still me, right?
Okay.
Like, I have the money to do this now. Like, how cool is this? Obviously, I also have some like loans, etc. It's not like, oh, I'm just buying properties left and right. But the idea is that I'm a good candidate for a loan because
Okay.
I've had my business for so long. So I went to the
Uh,
bank, like, you know what? I want to try real estate flipping. And I said, okay. So how cool is that?
okay. That is pretty cool, and it's cool to see that banks are actually see you as a legitimate business and trust you to give you a loan. So that's a good tip. Okay, do you worry about being a jack of all trades, if you do more than one thing? Because like the gurus always advise you, like, oh, have one offer, one problem to solve, one audience, like the 111. And do you feel that if you like dabble in many things, that you will fall into that trap of the jack of all trades?
This is such a good question. And I did feel like this for a long, long time. And then you know what happened? I don't know if you've heard Marie Forleo. She's like this amazing business coach. She's
Yeah,
been
I
on,
know her.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I bought some of her courses, and I've been following her for many years now. And I've been to some of her group coaching sessions. And I love her story. And she's the one who actually sort of set me free with this.
Okay.
And did you know that she has a relationship book called Make Any Man Want You or something like that?
Okay.
She New York Times bestseller, which is like half memoir, half like self-development thing. She has a coaching program, a course that is about B School. It's about businesses. She has Time Genius, which is about time management and psychology and all that. And she has the Copy Hackers course, which is about copywriting and marketing. And she's still on freaking Oprah, like almost every month. And she's super successful. I mean, who's to say that you only have to do one thing? What I should say is that whatever I do, I always make sure that I can give 100% of myself in the time when I do it. So if I'm going to write one post a week on Substack, the moment I sit down to write this post, is all about this post. Like, I put my phone away. I don't deal with contractors. I don't deal with anyone else. I research, I write, whatever. But the moment I get up from the desk, I'm like, okay, like I can't really sit still for a long time. Like, let's go see how the property is doing, or let's talk to someone, let's talk to a client, or whatever, and it's fine. And obviously you don't start by doing four things. You start by doing one. So in the beginning, I was a copywriter, and that's all I did. And then it took me like, I think it was 5 or 6 years before I even discovered Medium. And that's when I started writing about business and personal development, etc. And then I started Substack a couple years later. And it was a whole new skill, because then Substack is not only about writing, it's also about building a newsletter, which some people don't understand how different platforms and different types of businesses require slightly different skills. So they're like, oh, but this doesn't work here. Well, some things do, some things don't. So obviously Medium is a bit more, there's like a big audience there. They'll read anything. The platform is different. They have their own agenda. Substack is different. So all of this it took me years to go from one to the next, to the next, to the next. And now I'm at this point where I can accommodate all of these things, but it didn't start this way. Like if I had started this way, I'd gone crazy.
Mm. Okay, so you're a monetization expert. What do you tell people about monetization and the the monetizing or monetization trends keep changing, right? Let's say during the pandemic, it was online courses and cohorts and la la la. Now, and maybe before that, it was like YouTube ads. And now, what is, let's say, the biggest trend in monetization these days?
It really depends on what you want to do. I don't believe in trends. So let me
Okay.
say, I don't think that this is a way um, to build a sustainable business, because obviously trends will always change.
Mm,
Um, when I approach, and you mentioned that I've worked with 2,000 solopreneurs. This actually happened on Fiverr. So what happened on Fiverr is, this is where I built my business, and I've had a lot of clients for like big companies and startups, etc. But I've also had like I've worked with about 3,000 clients on Fiverr over the 10 years that I've been there. Most of my clients there were solopreneurs, like coaches, authors, writers, etc. And what happens is, always they come to me at this point where nothing else worked. And they're like, I need you to write this great sales copy that's going to sell my offer, whatever it is. And they want me to do magic, basically. And what I discover usually, just based on marketing knowledge, because I was in marketing before I became a solopreneur, also, and then obviously tried to market my own business, is a copywriter can't sell an unsellable offer, or no offer is really unsellable, but a confusing offer, an offer that doesn't have a who, that doesn't have a what, that's not powerful, it's not driven by what people want, it's not
mm,
driven by the opportunity that's already there. And whatever business you're in, whatever platform you're in, there is opportunity there, probably more than you imagine, that you haven't really figured out, probably, if you're not succeeding the way you want to succeed yet.
okay.
So for
Okay.
example, when I was on Fiverr and I tried to do website copy, no one bought it. And then when I did about pages, everyone bought it. That's the gig that exploded. That's what made me a copywriter, was people were like, I cannot write about myself in a way that makes me sound good without lying. Like, people are always
Mm,
overplating, etc. And when you're not writing about yourself, when someone else is writing for you, and they hear about your experience, your credentials, your passions, your desires, whatever, I'm like, this is actually a pretty cool person. Let me write their about page. And it worked out. Like, everyone was like, oh my God, I want to work with myself now. This is amazing. It's not even a lot. It's all true, but people
mm,
don't see themselves this way. So that was the monetization opportunity there. And then from that, it was like the point of breaking. Like, it was the moment where the doors opened, and now I was able to sell everything else to those people. I was like, oh, you want to do a sales page? You want to do a homepage? You want to do an entire website, Facebook ad, article, whatever? Let's do it. And they said yes, because obviously they were happy. Um, and now on Substack, I'm finding that I'm getting a lot of messages of people who are like, let's do a sponsorship. And I was like, really? In the beginning, I was like, really? Like, I don't do sponsorships. Like, I want to keep the content relevant to my audience. I don't want to like bombard them with ads or whatever. But then the last couple of people who messaged me were like really cool. They were products that I would buy, you know? And I was like,
Yeah.
why am I resisting this? Like, this is what's the situation right now. It's literally the platform's giving me signs how I can monetize better. And I'm like, I'm too good for this. And the truth is, you can just do it your way. You don't have to do it if you feel like scammy or sleazy or whatever. You don't have to say no. You just have to figure out how to do it without feeling these feelings, right? So a lot about monetization is that it's not exactly marketing, it's not exactly trends, it's more about finding that match between what you want to do and what the market wants. And it's a very specific thing. It could be very narrow. It's usually like this, literally like where it's where the wall breaks. Like it starts with like a little hole, like a little crack, and then it breaks and it opens up and it opens up and it opens up in this huge opportunity, right? So this
Yeah.
is what I'm trying to find people, help people find the specific thing that's going to help them explode, that the market is desperately needing, and they have, and it just there's no communication there.
What is the market needing now?
It really depends on what industry you're in.
Okay.
Let's give an example.
All right, let's do a live example. Okay, so I'm not sure how much you know about me. So I'm a journalist by training, author, and a ghostwriter. Most of my income comes from ghostwriting memoirs, and recently I started doing book coaching, and it became very organically. People started asking me like, "How can I write a book?" And so I never thought of myself as a book coach, but it just happened. So that's basically the bulk of my income. I also ghostwrite newsletters for corporations, and uh, I'm always looking to expand. My biggest problem is not enough cash flow every month to basically feel great about what I'm doing. Like, yeah, I conquered the solopreneurship game, one, and two, lead generation. I'm not really like, I don't feel I am getting enough clients to sustain a certain lifestyle where I can travel freely, like, buy an island or whatever. But I think, which is a bit frustrating for me, because like, I have over 25 years of experience and I'm working hard. It's just like, as you said, cracking that thing, right? That would kind of open the doors of heaven.
Mhm.
So what would you advise me if we're like in a live now coaching
Yeah.
session? What would you tell me?
First of all, let me ask you this. You mentioned that you would love to get more clients and you would love to
Correct.
grow,
Yeah.
right? But I also remember that a few days ago, we posted a note where it said that you are very tired, and you did mention that you're doing a lot of things,
I am
right?
doing a lot of
There's
things. Yeah.
writing for memoirs, you're doing Substack, etc. So my question is it really about getting more in terms of more clients and more work? Or is it more about getting more money? Because these are two different problems.
I think the work of solopreneurship is, as you know, you always have to, unfortunately, sometimes you have to chase clients to pay you. And if you don't have the right clients, they might like postpone, or they will like try to cheapen a bit, where like they say, give me 1 month. And I understand, things happen, but that's unlike when you're having a regular income, like the end of the month or whatever, every couple of weeks, touching, you know what to expect. And for that, there's always this kind of, I'm on edge, like, when is the big client gonna come and cover me for like 10 months, where I can just relax. So that's why, like, I feel like I'm in a hamster wheel, like just constantly running, trying to make
Okay,
it.
let me ask you this. If you double your prices for whatever service that you want to, let's say the memoir. If you double your prices and you cut your clients by half, how much better would things look like?
It will look much better, but the problem is finding the client who's actually willing to pay premium prices.
Yeah, I understand that. So let me tell you a story about that. So it it is really, it comes down to asking, and second of all, it comes down to, and this is a situation where what you can test. I'm not saying that 100% what will work, but the things that you can test. And it's when I got this $12,000 client that I told you about, I I did not believe that I could do it.
Okay.
And it was like, you gotta try. Like you have an idea of like what you can offer, and you have to try, and it worked. And the reasons that it worked is that I included things in the process that I knew that a client would want. For example, I included user testing. It was a copywriting thing. I included user testing on. There are platforms that are going to where you pay a couple $100 and like 200 people read your copy, and you can see where they stopped reading, whether they clicked the button or not. They can rate it, and you can target the right people, the right by demographic, etc. So I added this as an extra, and then I added a couple other extras, and it was really simple for me. Like it was literally just going on a user testing platform, paying $200, uploading the copy, done. And then I go back to the client and say, these are the results. This is the copy, and also when I was selling it to them, that's what I was doing, right? So I was like, it's not just writing. I'm going to user test this. And if the results are not this and this, you're not going to get it. I'm going to write another version, another version, another version. And this is included in the price. And they don't know how much it costs, how it's done, whatever. So I would say in your situation, definitely with your background, $20,000, considering that I know that I've got $12,000 for writing website copy, Natasha, with your background, $20,000 for memoir writing is not enough. So the first step here is big ass confidence. Like you gotta believe that you can get the money. It's not about that there are no clients. I know how it feels because I was there. I was like, no clients this much money. I was sure of it. But then I heard someone was making this much money, and I was like, they're not better than I am. What the hell?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like it really worked positively in my case. And I feel like confidence, 100% confidence, first of all. And second of all, write up the process that you're using in a way where even you would be like, fuck, $20,000 isn't enough for this. Like, look at my process. Look at all the things I'm doing. This is crazy, right?
Yeah.
And then go after the big guys. Now, I know that right now, maybe you can't imagine how it's going to happen, but the moment you decide to do it, I am telling you, somehow it's going to happen. I am telling you. Now, you said this is a coaching session. Now, if it were a coaching session, I would say, you know what? Give me your exact process. Like when you start working with a memoir client or when you're pitching to them or whatever, what is the exact things that you do? Like what are the things that are most important to clients? What are the things that maybe they want and you don't do, not because you can't do, but because you're so busy, right? That would make this better as an offer. And then what can we do to test this? Let's like, because you've already sent cold pitches to people.
Yeah.
Let's test it. Let's test it. And then we can work through this coaching session after coaching session after coaching session. And I'm telling you, I've seen this 100 times, and I've seen it as a copywriter too, where it's like, let's work on your offer. Let's change this and this and this. And then boom, it happens. And it's not even the copy. They're like, oh, you're such an amazing copywriter. No, you just fixed your offer, you know?
Mm. Mm. So where do you find these clients? If people come to you, say like, where would you start pitching? People say LinkedIn. What would you tell people? Like, where do you actually find these clients?
So I do buyer specific platforms. So you got to know where people go to actively look for the work you do. And truth is, they don't go on LinkedIn. A lot of maybe some of them go on LinkedIn. I've had people message me on LinkedIn, and usually, you know what they say? They say, I saw your Fiverr profile. Can we work outside the platform? That's why they're messaging me on LinkedIn, not because they find me on LinkedIn, right?
Okay.
So Fiverr and Upwork, like Fiverr specifically is because I know it, but I've also worked on Upwork and I've made like, I think about $30,000 to $40,000 in 1 year I made. But the process there is very intensive. There's a lot of interviews, a lot of meetings that clients expect even before they hire you. And I just wasn't okay with that. So instead, I focused on Fiverr, where it's a very productized service. And it's easier to get clients fast and to create a process where they agree to it, and you send them a questionnaire, you get the answers, you get the copy, boom, it's done, right? And then if there's something needed, we can talk, of course, we can message. But the thing is, I think Fiverr, the last time I checked, had 4.5 million active buyers. Active buyers means that they bought at least one service on the platform in the last 12 months. And most people buy more than one service. So these are 4.5 million people who are actively looking to buy. They're literally, that's what they do there. Like they go on the platform and they type out ghostwriting memoir, right? And that's what they're looking for. And by the way, you can go on Fiverr right now. You can type this up and you will see that there are people who are offering it. And don't
Let's
be
do it.
don't be fooled if you see small
Let's
prices.
see.
Platform works is
Okay. Okay. So are you still on Fiverr?
I am still on Fiverr, yeah.
And you still get clients from there? You feel like Substack is not enough? Or so like Substack is not your main kind of business
It's very
platform.
different. I am trying to do more on Substack, but Substack is a mission for me. And I think long term, so that's another thing. Services are always the fastest way to make money.
Correct.
Because,
Yeah.
right. So Fiverr is never going to die away. I have a profile there with like 2,000 positive reviews. So why would I want to leave that behind?
That's true.
This because now obviously I'm not the person who started. And I've increased my prices. And I think the average price I'm working on there right now is $800 to $1,000 for like a sales page or a few emails or something. I have bigger projects too. I'm sorry?
Yeah. I'm just thinking, have you ever thought of teaching people on Substack how to use Fiverr?
Yeah, I actually have a course. I have a mini that I'm now working on updating. Relaunch it soon. But I have a course, and actually, I've had people tell me that they've got the promise of the course is that you'll get your first client within 1 week. And I've had people message me and say, I got my first client. That was true. So again, it really depends on, like, obviously memoir writing, ghostwriting is huge. But if you want to do newsletter writing, short story ghostwriting, newsletter ghostwriting, article ghostwriting, like this is available, wildly available. And the thing for me is I never quite understood why people are trying to sell things on platforms where no one's looking to buy. Actively looking. Like I don't like it just doesn't make sense for me. Even if you type in Google ghostwriting, whatever, the first few results you will see are going to be Fiverr and Upwork. And the last client that I got on Fiverr ended up being a $40,000 client who works with the US government. So when people tell me, oh, they're only cheap clients on Fiverr, no, they're cheap sellers on Fiverr. That's what's bugging you. So you go on Fiverr and you see people doing it for $5. This doesn't have to be you. Fiverr has a prorated category. It has reviews. It has recommendations. It has its own system of pushing you up if you're doing a good job.
And why Fiverr, not Upwork?
This is my personal preference. I don't want to say that Upwork doesn't work. There are people who are doing great on Upwork, and I know that there are a lot of courses online, etc. I just know Fiverr better. And I also know that Fiverr now gives golden plaques to people who make over $1 million. And there are 3 sets of plaques. One is for over $1 million, the other is over 3, and the other is over 5, I think. And they've given out hundreds of plaques, right? So to me, it's like, oh, but Fiverr is only for cheap sellers or whatever. No, it really isn't. And then it's the same thing with TikTok. Like, do you try to sell your paid newsletter on LinkedIn? And you're like, Yeah, sure. Some people say like, oh yeah, but people come to LinkedIn and become paid subscribers. Yeah, but your newsletter is still on Substack. Like it's not,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
just don't.
yeah. I think you raised a very good point. Is like, why are you trying to sell in places that people are not going there to buy stuff? So if someone puts their offer on Substack, you don't think that's a good business strategy, because people on Substack, they're there for the community, for the writing. They're not there to buy services.
Um, I don't think that's entirely true because Substack is a lot about creating your own audience. And once you create this audience, you can absolutely pitch them. I've had people buy services from me, buy products from me, but on top of the paid newsletter, have paid subscribers who also buy other things from me. So it's your own audience. So that's the cool thing about Substack. It's not just a platform, it's not LinkedIn or whatever. It's your own audience. You can literally extract these emails and put them in MailChimp and email offers to people. Now, how they're going to respond is a different matter. But the thing is, you can sell on Substack, absolutely. And I do, my intent is absolutely to grow my Substack. And, and it's driven by my desire to have more solopreneurs in the world and to help them thrive. But I'm not selling my copywriting services on Fiverr, for example. I don't think that it's necessary. I'm sorry.
Fiverr on Substack. You interesting. You sell that on Fiverr.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Interesting. All right. So one thing is, how many paid subscribers do you have, and what is the best uh, strategy to convert free to paid? So like, I have around 3,000 subscribers and I only have 5 paid subscribers, which is a very low conversion rate. Maybe I haven't been doing much to push that. What would you tell me to do to increase that? And how many do you have versus the free ones?
Yeah. Currently, I have 50 paid subscribers.
Okay.
I did, I was close to 100 in the beginning of the year, and then I sort of, just other things happen. It doesn't matter, but I sort of dropped the ball there, and I had a lot of unsubscribers over the past 6 months. I recently wrote a newsletter about it, actually.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, but currently have 50, and I'm actually going through, and I would recommend everyone to do it if they've been on Substack for a while. Like if you're a beginner, obviously you need to stretch your legs. You need to run a few miles. You need to see what's happening, and then you can worry about like going back and organizing ideas, etc. But I've written about 200 stories on the platform, and I was like, okay, like this has got to stop. This constant writing and worrying that I don't have anything new to say, it has to stop. And I went back and literally did like this huge spreadsheet with all my posts and tagged them by topic and tagged them by results. So one of the things I noticed is, first of all, sales emails work on Substack when you are selling the right thing, right? So, for example, when I was writing a sales email specifically, for example, to promote my paid subscription with a webinar, like I'm going to have a webinar next week. It's going to be for paid subscribers. It's going to be on this or that topic that I know my subscribers will love. If you want to join, come join, and then you'll also get everything else that the subscription, right, includes. These work great. And whatever, it's not just about a webinar, whatever it is that you want to sell, that a specific offer, right? And it's purely a sales email. And this is very interesting to me, I got to say, because as you said, I didn't expect people to respond so well to it. I thought people are on Substack to read cool stuff. They don't like being sold to.
Yeah.
If you do it tastefully and if you do it rarely and if you do it because you obviously have something cool to share, right? Not just pounding my offer, but like honestly sharing, this is the thing that I want to do for you, but it's paid. So if you want to join, it actually works very, very well. Now, another thing is that I've separated my posts into 5 topics. And the data shows that 2 of these topics are my top earners. So whenever I send out a newsletter with regards to 2 of these topics, the one or the other, it has a lot of paid subscribers. But I consistently, over the past year, for example, I've sent newsletters on the other 3 topics. I don't know why? I feel like I've been tone deaf a little bit with my audience lately. And that's why this unsubscriber rate happens so fast, I feel like. So it's just because I sort of got really excited about strategy and about trying to help people be more intentional about their businesses and not just go about and try things just because they want to make some money or more money. I don't want them to be messy. I don't want them to be overwhelmed. I want them to work 2 hours a day, 3 hours a day, and love it. That's what I want for people. And I feel like with the technology that we have and with the skills that we have, it's totally doable if we go about it the right way. So anyway, I feel like if you know what your readers want, it becomes easier. And obviously, and if you sell it, like you gotta sell it from time to time. You can't just hope that people
Okay.
there.
So what do you offer your paid subscribers?
Okay, so first of all, my free subscribers typically get the first half of my emails, and then it's more about the what and the how is behind the paywall. And also my paid subscribers get a lot of tools. And I frequently create tools when I get inspired and write a post specifically for that post. For example, I'll develop a planner, an assessment, an AI prompt, a short video tutorial. I wouldn't call it a course, but like 3-part video tutorial about something. So I will often create this for a specific newsletter. They get clarity and focus and confidence and know-how about I want to see everything in solopreneurship, but probably not everything, but like about how do you go from a beginner to expert, from someone who's struggling to someone who's making great money and subscribers are just rolling in. No,
So you mentioned tools. Where do you host these tools? Like, are they like on Google Docs randomly, or they're Gumroad? Like, where is the home for these tools that
some
you created?
are on Gumroad, and then I give like some are on Gumroad, and then they're paid, and then I would give a code for paid subscribers to either get it free or with a discount. Some are on Google Docs. Yeah, some are on Google Docs with a link. But most are on Gumroad. And then some are actually included in the newsletter. So in the locked paywall part of the newsletter, there are like, for example, lines with questions and stuff like that. I still consider this a tool because honestly, as a coach, because I actually got a coaching certificate. I wasn't just a coach who called herself a coach. I actually went out and paid a few $1,000s to get a coaching certificate to teach me how to ask the right questions. I got to say that it worked out well. It's probably not as in journalism, but to teach me to ask these questions that make people think. And sometimes I just write them at the end of the newsletter. It's like, ask yourself this question, for example.
Mm, mm. Okay. So when it comes to solopreneurship, do you think it's here to stay or maybe not?
100%. I think Sam Altman was the one who said that he expects that within the next few years, there's going to be $1 billion one-person business.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Because of
That's great.
AI. It's never been so effective. One-person businesses have been around for a while, but they've never had the opportunity to be so effective. Like the research I do on a client project now, the speed is just insane. I can just ask anything and it'll give me links, it'll give me data, it'll give me graphs, it'll give me everything, right? So that take me hours and hours of work, which means I could take on more clients. And if I actually train my own AI agents, which I'm sort of looking into, but I'm not really an expert yet, so I don't want to discuss it, but I'm sort of looking into it, where the agent you can train it to almost think like you in a certain regard and do things instead of you.
Yeah.
That's a massive multiplier of productivity. And let's not forget that literally the world has changed every time that productivity has skyrocketed. So that was what the Industrial Revolution was, right? Instead of doing things by hand, we now did them in factories with like a process that allowed us to do them fast. And now we're seeing this with AI, and I think solopreneurship is actually exploding, if anything.
Mm. Do you ever entertain the idea of going back 9 to 5? You do.
No way in hell is that happening. Like, I hope not. I mean, God, who knows
Okay.
what's gonna happen tomorrow? But I really, really hope not, and it's not in my plans.
Okay. So the word solopreneur and the first word is solo. Okay. And I feel that being a solopreneur, if you work solo, it's not gonna help you. You should not take it literally. You have to have a community like this here. We're learning from each other. And who is your community? Who are the people that you admire, follow, aspire to be like? You mentioned Mary for I forgot her last name. Mary what?
Marie
For Mary,
Forleo.
yeah, Mary Forleo. But who is, if you know, who are your people that you want to be like, you want to emulate, they inspire you inspire each other? Who are these people?
I think Marie Forleo is a good example if we want to like aim big. But like,
Okay.
I love I love David McElroy. I love Veronica York
Your
Smith. I don't
class. Yeah.
pronounce her name. I love Christina God. I love the bigger creators who are like Michael Simmons is amazing. I love Lenny Richitsky, if you want, like one of the biggest creators on Substack. And this is just on Substack. In terms of like in general online creators, I like Nicholas Cole. I like Tim Denning. I like so many people, like so many people who have inspired me. And obviously Marie Forleo, so I love her. I know a lot about her work. And if we want to talk bigger, it's maybe Seth Godin comes to mind. I just love how he does things. And by the way, fun fact, Seth Godin sells his courses on Udemy, which is
Mm.
literally a platform where people go to buy courses, right? So this is just something to think about. Like, this is freaking Seth Godin. He can buy a Kajabi website and put
Yeah.
his course there. So why are they on Udemy? I mean, just
Yeah.
make me think.
It's a good point, and that's why now I think of Gumroad. It's like what I was doing, putting all my lead magnets, like God knows where, when I
Mm.
can just easily put them in a marketplace. And that was for me a complete shift where, yeah, well, just put them in a marketplace. And like sometimes these small actions you don't even think about, because you're, as you said, you're overwhelmed, like posting this post or like running this webinar or fighting with the landing page, not to realize that sometimes one tiny small shift can change the equation for you.
I do want to
uh
say, I'm sorry to interrupt,
yeah, go
is,
ahead.
and I would say do less. Do less. Choose the thing that brings you the most joy and maybe brings you the most money. Sometimes these are the same thing. But if it's not the same thing, I would lean towards what brings you the most joy and a decent amount of money. And try to really just focus and grow it and make it more expensive and make it more exclusive and make it more whatever it needs to be so that it brings you enough money with less time, because we're solopreneurs and it's so important that we keep our energy up, 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 up. It
Yeah,
can't, if it goes down, the business disappears. We don't have a team to back on.
correct. So how does your day look like as a solopreneur and a mom and all of that? How does your day look like?
So get up, get the kids ready for school, drive them to school. Usually take my computer with me, take my laptop, and then I go to like Costa or a Starbucks or like a coffee shop, a local coffee shop. 2 times a day, I actually first go, 2 times a week, I go to Pilates first and then the coffee shop. So I work a little bit there and then I come back home. I eat lunch with my husband who also works from home. Then I also do a little bit of work and I just go about like house tasks like cooking and cleaning and laundry. So much laundry. Oh my God. And that's pretty much it. So that's why I always tell people that I work 2 to 4 hours a day. And it's a must. Oh, and now obviously with the property business, I will sometimes before coming home, I will go to see what's happening there. And then with my husband, we can discuss in the afternoon, things around the properties and stuff like that. But that's about it.
Hmm. Uh, any books do you recommend for solopreneurs who really were like life changing for you? People always recommend Alex Hermosi stuff, so I'm
Uh,
curious what you recommend for your
just
clients.
1 second to find the book that I'm thinking about because it just the name slipped right now. Just I'm here, guys. Just 1 second.
It's okay.
Just okay.
Do you know the author? We can find it
One
here.
the one person. Um, Company of One. Sorry, Company of One by Paul Jarvet. I don't know how do you pronounce it.
Okay.
Arvis, let's say. So Company of One is a book where he talks about how a soul, well, it was written, I think, about 8, 9 years ago. So maybe not the number is not specifically relevant right now in this economy with the AI, etc. But his idea was that a solopreneur is someone who intentionally limits growth to in his book he says to $500,000 per year and you don't grow past that. So you're looking for ways to get to this level in a way that works for you. Like maybe if you want to work more, you can work more. If you want to work less, but up to $500,000 a year. And then past that, he claims that solopreneurship should either turn into a full blown business or it just becomes too overwhelming.
Mm.
Too busy. And just his whole idea, Company of One, is just, I think, one of these books that made me see that this is what I wanted to do. This whole idea about solopreneurship is exactly how I see it. It's just about because you hold the core value. It's your thing. This is what we said. The definition is that a solopreneur delivers the core value of their business alone, which means that you have full control over the quality of what you deliver. And I actually got into a little argument the other day on Substack where I said that if you don't like personal branding, you can just not do it. And someone respects my note was like, no, this is bullshit. You got to do personal branding or you're a commodity. No, you're not a commodity. Let me tell you, it is so hard to find someone to do a good job online for anything. If you've ever looked for someone, you'll know. If you've ever looked for like a designer, website developer, writer, virtual assistant, anyone who can really do a good job, who is devoted to their business, who knows what they're doing, who genuinely wants to help you and doesn't just want to like rip you off and move on. It is hard to find these people. So if you sell, like I started selling on Fiverr and like everyone wanted to work with me again. You don't have to worry about personal branding. I didn't even have LinkedIn. I didn't have an X or Twitter or whatever its name is. I didn't have a Medium. I didn't have Substack. I didn't have any of that. Nobody knew my name other than my clients. And they recommended me to people and they liked working with me. And I didn't need personal branding. So of course, if you want to grow, or maybe if you're in a market where your business depends on selling a lot, um, like a lot of units of what you offer, right? Because the service is an expensive thing. You need a few clients. If you offer a $50 or $100 product, obviously you need to sell it to a lot of people to make good money. So maybe then personal branding could work. Although I would argue that there are other ways. There are a lot of faceless businesses out there who are, again, utilizing sales focused platforms. For example, there are people who go on Amazon and look for they're very good in finding the right keywords. There are platforms for that, specifically for keyword searching for Amazon, for keywords that have a lot of demand, but not a lot of competition. So not a lot of products like this exist. I will give you an example. I have a friend who did that. She is selling notebooks and journals for teenage girls. And there are literally like 20,000 or 30,000 search of notebook teenage girl or something like that, or related keywords on Amazon every month. And there are like 10 options, for example. And she has these really cool quotes where it's like, for example, if my mouth doesn't say it, my face definitely will. And stuff like that are super specific to teenage girls, right? It's not just about, obviously, she has some
Yeah.
flowers, stuff like that.
Yeah.
She makes over 10K. No one knows her name. No one knows her name. She doesn't have social media. She doesn't have anything. So if you don't want to do it, don't do it. So that's another thing about my newsletter is it's not just about monetization in terms of, oh, let's do the trend or let's, kill it on Substack. Or you can do so many things. It's literally like being an entrepreneur. So if someone comes to me and tells me, how do I make money by opening a business? What does that mean? Like what kind of business? What are you gonna like? It's the same thing with solopreneurship. There's so many options.
Yeah. Yeah. So I noticed you publish a lot of posts and they're cool and different and they get a lot of engagement. How do you get your ideas for your notes? Do you have a system? Do you use AI? Do you write as you go? What is your kind of note creating
Mhm.
strategy?
Do you talk specifically? Are you talking about notes or
No,
post notes?
no, not specifically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have a system for notes. I have a system for my posts, and then sometimes I get inspired. But typically, notes is I find that the ones that get the most engagement are just something that I think about right now,
Mhm.
and either emotional or it's like a story that I want to tell. And I feel like you gotta be it's just that the society that we live in, and I don't want to sound like this. Oh, it's just a society. It's just that we've been raised like just look at the way that we've been raised. The internet didn't exist when we were kids, and there were rules. There were so many rules of like being in school and being at work and how you want we have forgotten how to um think for ourselves and share the valuable parts of our thinking. I'm not saying that you should share all the thoughts that run through your head, but there are valuable things in your head right now happening right. I promise you. And the biggest problem is that people don't get this. They don't allow themselves to be themselves. And
Mhm.
just open your mind and said, you know what? Like this is a great moment here. And I'm thinking, why didn't I get more moments like this when I was at my job? Like, why didn't I quit early or whatever? Like, and also I think it's about honestly just living life. Just quit worrying about what you're going to post and how much you're going to post and whatever. I mean, live life if you want engagement. And I do want to say that engagement doesn't always equal money. This is something that a lot of solopreneurs are surprising. That attention doesn't necessarily equal money.
No.
That
No.
10 subscribers won't necessarily get you. As you said, if you have a low conversion rate, it doesn't really mean anything. Like I
No.
have on Medium that has 85,000 reads, didn't do anything for my income. Like, well, it made a lot of money at the time on Medium, $2,000, I think. That was that. The money's long gone. I mean, it's not getting viral is not the goal, right?
Yeah.
It's just be who you are often and try to filter it though. Try to filter it through. Is this thought something that could help someone? Something that could lift someone up. Doesn't necessarily have to be help in terms of practical help. It could be emotional. Something that would make someone laugh, make someone see something beautiful, whatever it is, right? The other day, I kid you not, I posted a note about how much fun I'm having with my kids. It was just this note of my kid like doing a puzzle or something, and how happy I am that I get to raise them this way because my mom was always worried about money and she worked a bunch of jobs and they didn't pay her. Just Bulgaria was a mess in the 90s. And I have this awesome life where I can like I'm so grateful for it. I'm not saying it, oh, I have an awesome life. No, I've suffered for it, guys. Like it wasn't easy, but now I get to take my kids outside and have fun. And when they ask me to get them something, I don't always get it for them, but I could if I wanted to, if they deserved it, if they did something good, if the thing made sense, whatever, I could get it for them. And I just made this note, made this picture, and someone became a paid subscriber out of this note. I was like, doesn't even make sense. I didn't even like, it wasn't advice. It wasn't credibility. It wasn't anything. People really are desperate for authenticity, I think, like
Mm,
real people on the other end. And that's why I'm not a hustle bro. I'm not like, go, wake up at 5 a.m., do a bazillion things. You don't need any of that. If you don't want to do that, don't do that. Forget social media, forget personal branding, forget waking up at 5 a.m. Go sell something on a platform where people are desperately looking for it, ready to pay you. After you sell the first few things, raise your prices, maybe work a little bit on your profiles on social media, but don't necessarily post every day. Just make your profile decent so then when people check you out to see if you're a real person, because on Fiverr,
mm,
there are a lot of people who are not real people. So they do that. They go to check you out on somewhere else, wherever it is. And then they message you there. I've had people message me on Facebook, on LinkedIn, or whatever, and say, oh, I saw your Fiverr profile. Just wanted to make sure you're a real person. And that's
mm,
it. It doesn't have to be complicated. And it can be exactly what you want to do. And that's why
mm.
I always say, don't be like, oh, this is what's trendy now. No, do what you want to do because it's a solopreneurship thing. You are at the heart of it. If you hate it, it's not going to work.
Hmm. So you mentioned notes, but you said you have a process for your posts. What's your process?
What's my process for my notes? Oh, you want a process, do you?
No, for your posts, like, do you have a certain cadence? Do you like publish whenever, I don't know, the inspiration strikes?
So,
What is it?
no, I publish every Monday. It's an interesting story. I used to publish on Tuesdays. And if you Google what's the best time to send out a newsletter or an email, for some reason, Tuesday and Thursday come up. Now, this is an old data though. And people are now getting a lot of emails. And so one time I watched an interview with this TV producer, and he said, when you are launching a new episode of something, and especially at the premiere, for example, you're launching a TV show, if the competitor TV starts their show 2 minutes early, or was it 1 minute early, they're going to get more viewers. It's just because people are like on their couches, like scrolling through the TV. It's like, oh, this started. And then they start to watch it. And if it's interesting, they just keep watching it. So it's literally 1 minute. And I was like, this is really interesting. I wonder if it's going to work for my newsletter, and start sending it instead of on Tuesday, because Monday you get to work. A lot of my subscribers still have 9 to 5 jobs. People get to work, they have a lot of things, and then on Tuesday you already in work mode, right? So you don't have time to read stuff, and also you have newsletters on who get sent on Monday. So now you have Monday newsletters to read, Tuesday newsletters to read, and then my newsletter comes in, and you're like, oh, I've had enough, right? And I started sending it on Monday, and my open rate increased by like 5% or something, which is a lot for 8,000 people newsletter.
Mm,
Like to increase your newsletter, doing absolutely nothing, to increase your open rate, doing absolutely nothing else, but changing the day. And I'm not saying this, it really depends on what's your audience. So my audience, I think they read my newsletter while they're at work, or maybe before work, before they go to work because they want to sit down and write or whatever. So it's a work related thing. So if you're writing, for example, for fitness or whatever, maybe you send it on Saturday where people are like, oh, I need to work out this weekend. So it really depends on what type of person you're writing. Now, in terms of topics, as I said, I have a few topics. I've had them in my head for a while now, and now I've used them to regroup my posts. But I always try to vary them and think about topic versus the stage of development for the solopreneurs that I'm going to write about. And I just try to ideate going through this and come up with ideas. And then whatever ideas I like best is just the next one that I'm going to write. I also have a fierce habit of writing down my ideas. Like I will stop in the middle of the street. Well, not in a car, but if I'm walking, I will stop in the middle of the street and write down my idea. So usually I do have, like, I scroll down through my notes on my phone and I have a bunch. And then the writing process is interesting. So I like to structure ideas in steps and like the few key messages. So if it's a practical thing, it's step one, step two, whatever. If I want to make a certain point, is like why this point is important right now for you to read. What proof do I have that this is like that? What this means for you? How to put this in practice, etc., etc. So I just will jot down the sections of it, and then I will do a lot of research. So I like to see what others are saying, and I also like to do scientific research. So I will ask. I won't just use that. Someone said in the comments, the A stands for artificial. Well, yeah, I know. I don't use it for writing. I use it for like research organization and like taking 200 posts and getting summaries of them, like this is what I use it. But I will go to, I usually use Perplexity specifically for scientific research because it's a bit more accurate. And I will ask them for academic work that talks about whatever. So I took a neuromarketing class in a school in the Netherlands. It's an online thing. I wasn't there, but it was super interesting. And I thought, oh my God, like the things that I write about, academics have actually researched them on a big scale. Like they've done research with thousands of people with like where they track their brains and look at how they read or what they buy or how they choose or whatever. I want to know more about this. And then I figured out I should do this kind of research more often. And I don't always talk about it. In some of my posts I do because I feel like some people find it boring. But I always do it. I always look at what entrepreneurs are doing and saying, what successful business owners are doing and saying, what academic science is doing and saying with regards to what I'm writing about. And then I'll use this in the content. And yeah, then it's writing, editing, publishing.
So I know we've been talking for over an hour now.
Sorry, guys. I hope this wasn't boring.
No. It's been fascinating. But before we conclude, I want to talk about the future. What does the future hold for Maya Say? What are your future plans? What are you excited about creating? What is in store for you and for your audience as well?
Thank you. Thank you for this question. I am looking to gradually move away from client work, and maybe just do like consultations from time to time for clients, from past clients, regular clients, and I want to focus more on the newsletter, and I want to help more people become solopreneurs. I hope that I'll probably hire this out, to be completely honest, but I want to show up on more platforms just to get more visibility for it. I know that I feel like the message that I have to share is important. I mean, everyone's message is important in some way. My message is important because I am a bit tired of men who are very, let's say, very hustle driven and very result driven and very money driven to define how solopreneurship should work and could work. And I want to be one of the voices, because it's not just me, obviously there are other people, um to say, calm down and do this on your terms, and it can work. It will work. It can work. It's been proven to work. It's worked for many people, not just me. I'm not special. I'm not interesting. I'm not like, this is just me talking from experience. It's not because I'm also smart or whatever. Like, this is just what's been happening to me. And it's taken me 11 years, but here I am. And it's been fun. And I also hope to write, I do have a book planned, like that I'm working on. I'm not sure. I'm hoping 2026 will be the year to publish it, self-publish it. And it's going to be about, this is the first time I'm sharing this. It's going to be about slow success. Because I'm just done with all the hustling and the hurrying. Why are we hurrying so much? Like, I know that you guys want to make money fast, but the more you hurry, and I'm sorry, this is going to be really quick. If you feel anxious about your business and uncertain, and it sort of lives off dopamine hits, and it's like this cool guy that you like, where it's like, oh, he looked at me or whatever, and it's like, it's not good. This is not the real thing. The real thing, if you're married, let's take the relationship as an example, is this cool, calm, joyful feeling where it's not means to an end, it's not an outcome that you just wish he would call you or you wish he would compliment you or whatever. It's just like he's there and you want to know more about him and he wants to know more about you, and it's fun, and it's just a slow burn, and it's always there. And sometimes he annoys you, but it's still your guy, or your woman or whatever. And it should be the same feeling that you have for your business. If it's crazy, anxious, dopamine, impatient thing, this is not the business for you. You're going to burn out. You're going to get a mental health crisis. Stop. Like, you need to fix this. You need to have this thing where you set boundaries, you charge fair rates, you have a working business. You don't need that much. You're a solopreneur. You don't have like a lot of the expenses that big businesses have. And you can do this, I'm telling you. So that's the message.
That's great. So how can people get in touch with you, Maya? What's your, if you can, this is your shameless plug now. Yeah.
Solopreneurs, feel free. I'd be happy if you subscribe, follow, but even if you don't, feel free to message me or leave a comment here. I will go through the comments now and ask me any questions or whatever. I'm an open book.
Okay, great. Before we conclude, anyone has any questions, or if not, we can conclude this wonderful discussion. Thank you very much, Maya, for all your insights and for the free coaching, the free life coaching session.
But I'm sure you can take it from there.
And for everyone who joined us today, we had 41 people live. Thank you very much. And I will post this like maybe tomorrow. So for those who missed it, can also watch it again. And thank you, everyone. And please don't forget to subscribe to Maya's newsletter to get all the goods and tips and advice about the solopreneurship life. And thank you very much. And until we meet again, ciao.
You. Bye.
Bye. Bye.